One. I love that every time. Recording in progress. Jay, do you want to go ahead?
I can't even do like really. You're gonna just do this every time, aren't you?
Not
it's
true.
Gonna be like
Not
2.5 years later, and she's gonna be like, "It still." Like no one's gonna laugh. It's not gonna be funny. I'm Jay.
I like that. Recording in progress.
I will know that, and we remember to introduce ourselves.
So high five, social distance. Y'all, COVID's still out here. Don't touch people's hands.
That's so true. I know I told the story 1,001 times, but 1,002 doesn't hurt. Right. I saw a handshake yet again.
And my hands. Hand sentence. I was like, no, don't do it. Okay.
You might don't forget under the name.
Because I get it all. Gonna get it all. All right.
We wrote books.
Right. We wrote literary life guides with pop poetry. Yeah, it's Friday evening. Yeah. After 5.
It's better than the mistake that I made today.
Yeah, that was really funny. Okay, so and I thought the voice was bad. You have the proof copy. Like I can't do this with you. And I thought the voice was bad with other life lessons. If only I were me. And I thought and I thought growing up was easy. What was I saying?
Foreign Coffee, Widow's Debt, and Widow's Web are all audiobooks.
Yes, and you can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andithoughtLadies.com. Yeah, I'm learning to pause now because you're always supposed to be like .com all night. No, I'm being professional.com. But y'all are really calm. Y'all are here to hear about us. You're here to hear from our wonderful guest.
Wonderful guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm the wonderful guest today, I guess. My name is Hadley Raydeen. I'm an author. I'm an editor. I am a jack of all trades because I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff and have been so busy, and I apologize to you ladies that I have not been able to catch up with you until today. So
it is
I do apologize that I'm so late to the party. But we can talk right now.
The party. That's all that matters.
Right? I mean, now, doggone it.
You arrived at the party, and that's all that matters.
I'm allowed at the cookout. This is the cookout.
Oh my goodness. Is this a cookout? Who knew in the hamburgers?
Oh my goodness. If it's a cookout, all I want to know is who bought the potato salad.
Oh yeah,
because that is extremely key. Because you can't let somebody
look. I had a whole conversation about this with my son today. And he was like, Mom, I'm going to a cookout tomorrow. And I said the very thing you just said. Who's bringing a potato salad? And there better not be no raisins in it.
Like, oh my goodness. Why would somebody do? Okay, I can't even do it. I can't do it.
Most upsetting thing, going to a cookout and you see a potato salad with lettuce, kale.
Yes.
With pieces of carrot.
And they put potatoes on the top of it because it's actually a salad with potatoes.
Yes. And then you mix up the potatoes.
And then you say, and then when I see that directly, I'm like, I'm at the wrong cookout.
Well, when you're at that kind of cookout, you order yourself a tofu burger because it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Okay, anyway, so
let's ask you questions.
Let's talk about how you got into writing.
I'm sorry, and I didn't hear the last couple things you said because my daughter came down here at that exact moment and asked a question. So I'm so sorry.
No, that's life. Like, look, y'all, she's living a real life.
Exactly.
A real life. Okay, so how did you get started into writing? Like, did you always know you wanted to be an author? Did this like come on to you like me and like had your best friend drag you kicking and screaming?
Okay.
Kidnapping.
So
it was a kidnapping of my creative genius.
So whenever I was little, I used to read books all the time, and I used to ask my mom, take me over to Barnes and Nobles or whatever bookstore it was, because I wanted the Babysitter's Club. I wanted the whatever. I read Nancy Drew and all those things. So I'm like, okay, well, I can write my own stories. So I started writing stories and handing them out to my friends whenever I was in high school. And they would read a chapter a day. And oh my God, I want to know what's going on with this. So I had Starlin and Jordan were my characters. And my friends would be like, what's going on with Starlin and Jordan? Whatever. So I wrote those things. And then whenever I got older, I started reading more, and I started reading more adult books. When I say adult, the bumping and grinding kind of books. And I was like, wait a minute. So who edited these books? They are not edited the correct way. So I reached out to publishing houses and I applied, I auditioned, and I became an editor. And I edited more than 300 books at romance publishing houses. And when I was working with authors, they were like, well, you're giving us such good advice on our books. Why aren't you writing your doggone self? Well, meanwhile, back at the farm, I'm writing these books. I did have books ready to go. So when they encouraged me and my authors were saying that to me, I was like, okay. So I started submitting my books and I got traditionally published. And then I was talking to some other authors and they told me, okay, well, you did that. Why not do your books indie and independently publish? So I am now doing that. And then the authors that I work with, they are coming back to me and they're like, okay, well, now that you're doing that, can you still edit our books? So not only am I traditionally published, independently published, and traditionally editing, now I am independently editing as well. So I full gambit. I'm doing everything right now.
Wow, sounds like you built yourself a nice, successful business.
So since you were on the traditional published side before with editors, what are the pet peeves that you saw like in those manuscripts that were coming into the traditional publisher?
So in the traditional, well, that's a good question. So I was in the acquisition side. So I did see those things that came in there raw and crazy. And when I say raw and crazy, that means people are sending stuff into publishing houses that aren't looked at. They're not edited. They're just, somebody sat down on the Sunday afternoon and just threw up all the words onto a page and then sent it to a publishing house and think that it's going to get published. So I would give this advice to any new author or any author that's trying to go into a publishing house. Make sure that you are submitting the best possible piece to a publishing house, because editors are looking at it like, why is this a thing? And that's even with a job and a resume. If you're applying for a job, don't just put anything out there with your resume. So your book is your resume. You have to be able to speak. You have to be able to present yourself accordingly. And that goes for your book, that goes for your resume. And I'm talking on both sides of what I do. My recruiter, author, HR, everything, all my hats. I'm telling you everything. Make sure that you are presenting the best possible piece to whoever you're presenting it to. Don't come incorrect ever.
Wow, that
is a beautiful piece
of advice for like all facets of your life. That's
pretty much true. Because you get one chance to make a first impression, although often for me, I get
that's
two.
it.
You do get two, because I'll be like, she ain't mean that, y'all.
Exactly. So I get to do
say it again. Say it again like you mean it.
Exactly.
So
okay, go ahead, Jay.
We see you wonderful book covers. Do you do those yourself or do you pay someone? And what are some of your advice on book covers?
I don't do those myself. I got a lot of talents, but a book cover ain't one. I do form those out. I go to different book artists or the cover designer, graphic, whatever they're calling themselves. I am in a lot of graphic design groups and I just look at all the things, all the pretties. They call them pretties. So I look at all the pretties. And somebody messaged me the other day on Instagram and they're like, oh, what are you looking for? It's not necessarily that I'm looking for something, but if you put something out there and it looks good and I can write a story on that and it speaks to me, then great. What I will say to an author is, people always say don't judge a book by its cover. Yes, people judge a book by its doggone cover. Because if it looks generic and it looks like something you don't want to read, people are not going to pick it up. I don't want I don't want nothing that looks like my 5-year-old nephew put it out there. I want something that looks professional and it looks good on Amazon and looks good out there in the public. And then another thing you have to think about is whenever you are at book signing events, does it look like something that you can physically give somebody in paperback? So look at the things. Is it soft? Does it have clean lines? Is it, so definitely I I judge a book by its cover. I do. And when I put myself out there, it's definitely gonna look right.
Exactly.
Wow, that's great advice, actually, because a lot of authors have told us that they're like, listen, y'all, people do judge books by its cover.
Hence why we, when COVID happened, we redid all our covers.
We did most of them. Let me do these because they need an upgrade.
So when you started your writing career, did you have to find yourself changing perspective from, putting on your editing hat? And if so, how was that different?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes. I definitely keep with the times. What's going on? What's selling? And people keep talking about sell to or right to market. Right to market is a big thing that you'll see out there. Look at what's selling. Look at what's going out there. In contemporary romance, that's my bread and butter. So I have to see what's number one on Amazon. And it's not necessarily what I like as an editor, because I like certain things as an editor. But as an author, as a writer, I have to look and see what's selling, what's marketable, what can I put out there, what's going to look good in my newsletter. So there's nuances to this. And as an author, you have to look and see what's going on, look and see what's selling, look and see what's marketable, and go with that. So yeah, that question that you just asked, there's a lot, and it's so exhausting at times. You gotta sit there and look, oh my God, who's number one? Oh yeah. What am I listening to? On Audible. Now a big thing is with Audible, people are listening to books more than they are reading them. So do I need to get into the Audible or audio market? So there's a lot of stuff that's going on that you have to look at it, and it's different for a writer than it is for an editor, most definitely.
Okay, so you have a lot of titles out there. How do you get inspired to continue to write?
And can you tell us some of the titles?
Yes.
Wait, what? Wait, that was two questions.
How do you get inspired to write, and can you tell us some of the names of the titles?
Oh, okay. How do I get inspired to write? My inspiration comes from songs, believe it or not. I listen to a lot of music and I watch TV shows. And they have a baseline. The writers on TV shows are amazing people. The way they can do that, especially with episodic, every freaking week, they're putting something out there. And there's something they have to say in what they're writing and what they're putting out there. And a writer, an author, can get something as a side story. Okay, well, so I'll use Chicago Med, for example. I was just talking about this with somebody. That girl who plays April on Chicago Med is now doing another series for Fox. It's called like Friends or Best. I don't even know what the name of the thing is, but she's doing something else. So that could be a whole nother book. If an author looks at a TV show and they could say, okay, well, April is going off and she has the basis of that story is she's going off and she's now finding out that she is the illegitimate child of this family that's down in Atlanta. And she's in Chicago right now working as an ER nurse. So now it's a whole spin-off show. So that's how I get inspiration, to answer your question. I look at stories, I look at songs, I hear songs, and then I'm like, okay, well, that is the gist of what they're doing. And then I can spin it off and do blah, 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 X, Y, and Z.
Wow, that's a really interesting process. I like it. It seems like you are a plotter and not a pantser. Uh, so the last question is, where can people find out more about you?
And buy your books.
Yes.
So I can send it to you so you can put it out here for your people.
Mhm.
But I am on all platforms. So I am the most involved on Facebook. So you can look me up, Hadley Raydeen, on Facebook. My second is Instagram. I am also on Twitter. I got my newsletter, I got my website, I got all that stuff. And then what I'm trying to do is TikTok, and I'm trying to get my kids to help me with that because I'm old and we don't do TikTok over here.
Oh, it's fun though.
It is super fun. But also, what is that website that people can go?
I have authorhadleyraydeen.com.
Fabulous.
And then I have my link tree. I can send you my link tree because what I'm trying to build up is my author group, my reader group. So that's Hadley Habitué. So I can send you that so you can put it out there. So
Thank you
so much for coming on the show and like doing this and being amazing. Thank you.
Yes.
So I guess I'll go ahead and wrap us up. You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andithoughladies.com. While you're there, take a moment, go down to the bottom of the page to see the charities that we probably support. Maybe you can support them. Also, we thank you in advance for that. And just remember, y'all, wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it. So, but peace and love from Winona
and Jade. Bye-bye. And thanks for listening.